you now get it, and I'll go back to the page. With the WhatsApp.
Let's see it from here. Have a look at it.
It doesn't work.
You try both of them.
Nothing.
You try that.
It asks for play and all kind of thing.
No, I don't know why it's doing so.
How again this thing of the screen, mate?
Exit off.
Let's try it off now.
I like the mouse with it?
No, I so this man looking good enough.
Oh, why are you not? Okay, just see.
103 FM and Hennessy presents Chucky Soca Cooler Cruise on board the Harbour Master. Saturday, February 2nd,
Same thing.
boarding at 7 p.m. Call the hotline and get those tickets now. 310-103.
I don't understand why I'm trying to get so much trouble with this live stream.
The doubles man from the band Gaia Tones will be there. Ha 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 ha.
103 FM is pulling out all the stops. This Chucky Soca
Go to
season
the
bigger and
No, that's probably what's
now
this.
for 2019.
What's up is
live
next.
stream on the
Busting Chucky and Chucky Soca, as well as interviews, broadcasts, and events.
looking Raj, looking good.
Official and
Which one is the
here.
Chucky Soca season.
why not now?
Looking good.
Chucky Station.
You have to go on his site.
Not the website here, not the WhatsApp.
No, no, what's up good?
Just make sure the WhatsApp. Okay.
Use here. It'll work. TT, you access something like. When you go, you come here.
Good, yeah.
Well, we're gonna try bang play it. We started on one time, right?
Yeah, you let him
You have
start.
the
Yes, one of us maybe.
You just guess one.
Guess one right now.
You really are working on this computer.
It has to do something with the system.
But you safe. You're not.
Put the WhatsApp on. Pleasant good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk About Sex with Dr. Raj. I am Dr. Raj Ramnanan, better known as Dr. Raj. I'm a sexologist and sex therapist, for those of you who don't know. I run a clinic in St. Augustine, but I'm here to talk about sex and all issues dealing with sex. So you can send your message via our WhatsApp, which is 299-4103, or you can call in directly to the studio, 628-4103. Have your questions answered. Tonight we're going to deal with a very sensitive topic, something that we don't usually pay attention to, and that is health, sex, and sexuality. And how does one tie in with the other? But as much as I'll be speaking about those issues, I also want you to know that when you call in and ask your questions, we will deal directly with your questions, no matter what it may be. But we try to stick with the topic, and the reason for that is that we can expand on the topic, give you the correct information that you may need, and that's one of the important factors. One of the important factors when it comes to sex education. Now, sex education can start in many different ways. When they talk about sex education with children, sometimes a person will ask, at what age should you be talking about those things? The age at which children starts to learn about things of a sexual nature would be from 3 onwards. But we don't deal with things directly with sex. You have to give them bits and pieces of information, but what you have to be careful about is that the information must be truthful. Because children nowadays, with technology and whatnot, they would get the information, and sometimes they get a lot of false information. So as parents, as elders, uncle, aunts, teachers, whoever you may be, it's very important to give truthful information, but don't give detailed information. When you're dealing with adults, on the other hand, a lot of adults have misconception about information. And the reason for that is that we grew up while we were growing up, information about sex and whatnot was a taboo subject, a very taboo subject. So we must be very careful with what we think is right and what is actually right. So lots of time, adults will make statements about things that are sexual, and they may not be on target with their answers or with their thinking. And that's something that is very important to note, because of the simple fact that when you're dealing with on the block information or information that comes from a person, the person will use their own biasness to give you an answer. They may think whatever they're saying is the right answer because that may give them a sense of pride. It may even make them feel as though they're engendered or it's a macho kind of thing. But do not let that fool you. As adults, we must take into consideration what is right, what is truthful, and how best it applies to us. So when we're dealing with health and health issues or things of a health nature that affects our sex and sexuality or behavior, that's a very important topic. The only time we start paying attention to something like that is when something actually starts happening to the individual. Now let's take for example, a couple living together, having marital affairs and whatnot with each other, and suddenly the husband starts to feel, the wife may first start to think that he has someone else. He's no longer interested in me. I am no longer attractive to him, so he has someone else. That may not be true. Because lots of time, when something starts to happen to a guy, it's because of his lifestyle. And his lifestyle has a lot to do with his health. Now, if he has had health problems while growing up, if he had issues with nutrition, bad diet, lack of exercise, all those things impact upon the individual. But it doesn't show right away. Now, I like to think, and this is something that everyone can relate to, we all have an alarm system within our body. We were given that gift from God. What is our alarm system? Our alarm system is what we pay attention to all the time. So as a young person growing up and developing, you would have changes from puberty to adolescence, adolescence to teenage, teenage to adulthood. Now, what happens? A person will change sexually during those times, and that becomes your alarm system. To put it simpler, if a person at 18 does not have certain feelings or functions, something is wrong with that individual, both male and female, more so male than female. When one pay attention to these things, but we don't, because in our teenage years, it's natural for us to behave in a particular way. But one of the issues that are affecting a lot of young men today is this whole thing that has to do with genetically modified foods, things that are not good for individuals, a lot of sugar in our diet. So those are the things that start affecting a person. So when we come back from the break, we'll start discussing how to relate to these things, what are the things that you should stay away from, and how to develop yourself. So we take a break, we'll be right back.
And of course, we will return to Dr. Raj, where we will soon be inviting your calls and your WhatsApp messages. The WhatsApp number is 299-4103. The landline to call us on is 628-4103. Right now, courtesy courts, we like to bring to you your online game results for 7 p.m. Playway number first off is 14. Again, that mark is money. It came with a mega ball. In pick 2, the numbers 34 and 13 in that order. In pick 4, the numbers 1000. That's 1000, 1000. And in cash pot this evening with a multiplier number of 4, the numbers 12, 4, 6, 18, and 11 played. Back to Let's Talk Sex with Dr. Raj.
So a young person growing up would eat the normal diet that is prepared at home. And lots of time, it may not be the proper diet for the individual. But of course, you have to deal with the circumstances by which you grow up. So if you don't have a balanced diet, and if you don't exercise, these things impact upon you not right away, but later on in life. Most of the times, the problem that we face in our society is diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. Now, when you have an issue arising out of those type of diseases, the first thing that you tend to lose is your sex drive, which is your libido. When that happens to a person, sometimes we just say, well, we're too tired, or I find that things drop, and I will just go and get some pill and use it. But it's our alarm system going off. The person is being warned that something is happening, and you got to pay attention to it. But most of the time we don't pay attention to it because we are interacting normal. It's just that you'll have one or two failures, and those failures are the ones that are telling you something is wrong. When you deal with a married couple and they are having these issues, that's where the negativity comes in, and that's where blame are being shared, either to the man or the woman, and it may not be something that you would pay attention to. So what you need to do is you have to assess yourself. You have to figure out what's going wrong, what is causing this to happen, and when did it start. And if you're truthful to yourself, most of the time you will have the answer. But of course, if you don't have the answer, taking a pill is not the answer. Simply taking a pill because you're failing is not the answer. Because what you're going to do, you're going to put a plaster over a sore, and you're not dealing with curing the problem. So we are faced with issues like this all the time, and we just don't pay attention to it. Normally we must know where we start, when it started, and what to do about it. Unfortunately, there's something that is called ego, especially with a lot of men. And that ego prevents us from saying, I actually have a problem. And because I have a problem, I need to get help. And where do I get help? I go to a professional. Now, when I started the program, I introduced myself, and I let you know what I am. Let me tell you about my qualification. I have been studying sex and sexuality, sex, gender, and sexuality for the last 35 years of my life. I have made it my study. I own and operate a clinic in Trinidad that has clients from all over the world dealing with all sorts of sexual dysfunction, sexual problems among male and female. I do counseling for couples. I help persons with any sort of problems or anything that is related to sexual dysfunction. Simple thing as a woman not being satisfied sexually. Things like a man who no longer get a morning erection. Now, a morning erection is not what we will refer to as a urinary stand. A morning erection is an indication of your levels of testosterone. Now, testosterone is a hormone that makes you a man, that gives you the function as a normal man. So you have to pay attention to all these little things, which we don't. Now, the things that affect these things negatively is alcohol consumption or overuse or abuse of alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. Poor diet, lack of exercise. Now, it's difficult sometimes to do everything that is supposed to be good for you. But if you're doing everything that is bad for you, could you imagine what happens to our system? They have breakdown in the function of our health, our well-being, and our sexual being. Again, everyone looks for a fast fix for these things, not taking into consideration that these things didn't start today. It started way before. Sometimes it may have started 5 years before. It could be something that started a month before, but you got to pay attention to when it started and what you did about it. Most of the times when people go to the pharmacy or they go to their friends and ask for a tablet to overcome their problem, they are creating more harm than good. Because all you're doing is a temporary fix for something that is going to be permanent later on. There are certain words in sexology that we don't use. And sexology is the science and study of sex and sexual behavior. We are sort of anthropologists also, social anthropologists, where we study the environmental factors or the factors that affect not only society, but also the individual, each individual, how it impacts upon them and their behavior within the society. There are some guys who are shy. There are some women who are very shy. They don't want to be approached, or they're afraid to get involved in anything in a romantic nature. But of course, romance leads to sex. So at the end of the day, we all have sex at the back of our mind. Sometimes it's at the forefront. It's something that is part of us, because once you start to develop and change as a young person, you will get sexual feelings. And there's no getting away from that. And that's something we have to pay attention to. So we'll be inviting you all to call in, send your WhatsApp message. Remember, when you have to call in, it's 628-4103. Those of you who want to send your WhatsApp messages, 299-4103. Those of you who are live on Facebook and live on our website, remember those numbers. Call in, ask your question. Any question, I will try my best to give you truthful answers. I will try my best to assist you with whatever difficulties you may have. And again, don't expect with one phone call or with one treatment you're going to be cured or fixed. That it doesn't happen that way. Because more than likely, whatever you're facing today is as a result of something that has happened to you long before. There may be a root cause for your problem. So we have to examine what is the root cause to find a solution. So even if you call me tonight and tell me about something that is happening within your household with your partner, your spouse, sometimes the first thing we do is lay blame on our spouse, and we may be at fault. But because of our ego, both male and female ego, because of that, we don't want to take responsibility for the things that are happening to us. But we need to. We need to understand the importance of things of a sexual nature. And it's not being promiscuous. It's not having 10 and 12 partners. It is simply, how do I make myself better so that I can live a happier life with my partner, that we can enjoy certain things, that we can grow old together. These are the things that we have to keep to the forefront of our mind. What can I do to better myself? And don't wait for somebody to cure you, you know. Unless, of course, you're at the clinic or you're going to see a doctor or something like that. But you have the answers within you. All you need is the guidance. So a professional person will give you the guidance. They may put you on a program. They will tell you certain things that you need to do. But if I tell you these are the things that you need to do and you don't do it, I can't do it for you. And always remember that each person is different. So what will work for one person may not work for another. So you got to pay attention to that also. So I know you may be shy to call in right away, but think about it. What are the issues affecting me? And you will be surprised that when you ask a question, there will be 10 other persons that have the very same question. The answer will be broad-based enough to help each one of those 10 persons. But if you want it to be specific for you, there are information that I need to make it specific for the individual. And that's the technical part of it. If a person wants to be assisted personally, then of course I need as much information from you for that to be done. That's why I have a clinic. Persons will come to the clinic, they will tell me whatever is affecting them, and I will find a solution for them based on the information I get from them. Generally, we can talk about things generally and find a solution. But as I said, it may not be a working solution for you. Now, there are things that you can try. And when I talk about things that you can try, most of the times, there are simple changes that you can make in your lifestyle. There are simple changes that you can make in your behavior with your partner that will make things different. For example, let's say alcohol is the cause for your problems with your partner. If you simply stay away from the alcohol or stay away from the consumption of the amount of alcohol that you normally consume, what would happen? You'll find that you behave differently and you may have a better relationship with your partner. So that's something to take into consideration. And the number one issue we have in the country, and I can tell you this from the years of doing research, from the years of having my clinic, which is over 25 years. I started off in Arapita Avenue. My clinic is in St. Augustine, and I've been doing research ever since. From my years of doing research, sometimes it's the simple little things that we do, the way we approach our partner, the things that we say to our partner, that causes us to have either a bad relationship or a very good relationship. Caring and understanding is an important factor at all times. And sometimes we need to stop laying blame and say, here what? I am the person that needs to make the change. And if I make that change, things will be much better as opposed to waiting for my partner to change. You know, sometimes a person would hear that you need to change 50-50. It's never 50-50. Sometimes you may need to change 95% and the other person may simply need to change 5%. But that 5% could grow and your 95% could diminish depending on how you deal with your partner. Because lots of time, your partner is waiting to see how much you're willing to sacrifice and what are you going to do really to make things better. So again, we invite you to send your WhatsApp messages. And someone asked a question, what if a man is tired, can that affect his morning erection? If a man is tired and he don't get his 8 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, it will affect his morning erection. Tiredness alone, once you get the sleep and the testosterone level rises, because as you sleep, now that is providing that you have good levels of testosterone. And this is where a lot of persons don't, when they go and do a blood test, sometimes a person will say, I did a blood test, but they normally don't check for testosterone level. We as sexologists, that's what we check for. We check for testosterone levels to see what the levels are, to have an indication. Now, sometimes you are within the range, but it may not be the right range for you given your age and the type of work that you do to maintain or even get a morning erection or get an erection. But the person who is tired and using I am tired as an excuse not to have a morning erection, that is not a proper excuse. You really need to find out what else is going wrong. So, like I said, it's easy to place the blame on your partner. It's easy to think about external factors that are causing your problem. But one of the things you also have to take into consideration is your lifestyle will be the one that is really causing your problem. For example, let's say you're tired because you're overworked or you're doing 2 jobs or you're burning the candles at both ends. Obviously, that is going to affect your body, your chemistry, and other factors. So it may not be that the physical tiredness, you see, if you're physically tired, you can get over that by simply sleeping. Getting the right amount of sleep and whatnot. And even, of course, taking your vitamins and your supplements that you're supposed to take. But if you are mentally tired, you're talking about stress. And that's a different thing. Once you're talking about mental tiredness, that's a serious issue. Those are the things that will affect a person in such a bad way that it's going to cause serious problems, not only with your sexual function, but other organs in your body. So that's something you really have to pay attention to. So we have a few persons on our Facebook Live. Do we have anything? For those of you on our Facebook Live and those of you who are watching on our live stream, remember you can call in 628-4103. Call in and ask your questions. You can send your WhatsApp messages 299-4103. And again, it's not a condemnation of anyone. It's for us to find a solution for you and your problem. Or you and your issue. Let's not use the word problem. Issue. There are issues that affects a person in their home. There are issues that affects their married life. There are issues that would affect the way they converse or the interaction they have with their partners. Those are the things that we need to examine. What are the issues? What are the things that we can do? Or you can also call on 299-4103. They could call on that also. Okay. All right. So you can call on 299-4103 for those of you having difficulties with the 628-4103 number. You can send your WhatsApp messages. It comes directly in the studio and we can read it here live. Now remember, when you're getting information from me, you're getting years of experience. The experience that I've had with my clinic, with the thousands of individuals that I've assisted in Trinidad and Tobago over the years. And of course, I have clients from all over the world who come to Trinidad and Tobago. Before the government of 10, 15 years ago were talking about medical tourism, I have been doing that in Trinidad long before that, because I had clients coming from all over the world for treatment for sexual dysfunction, because I'm the only qualified sexologist and sex therapist in the Caribbean. And because of that, and because of my reputation outside, persons come here for treatment. There are many times I have to write letters to immigration for they to get permission to come back for treatment regularly from within the Caribbean or elsewhere. But that's what we do. But it's the years of doing this thing that gives me the ability to answer your question. We have... Hi, Doc. Good night. 30 years old, and he enters the vagina. He does come sometime, even before entering, he does discharge. That's called premature ejaculation. Now, let me give you some percentage. If you have 10 men in the room, in one room, and you ask those 10 men, anyone here suffers from any sort of sexual dysfunction, no one is going to put up your hand. No one is going to say, it's me, I have a problem. But statistically throughout the world, 70% of all the men has some sort or have experienced some sort of sexual dysfunction, including premature ejaculation. Now, premature ejaculation is when an individual discharge upon entering the vagina, as soon as they're about to enter the vagina, or after engaging in intercourse, they discharge before their partner is satisfied. And how do you gauge premature ejaculation? Anytime you discharge before your partner is satisfied, or before you think that you have satisfied your partner and you feel bad about it, that's premature ejaculation. Now, there's some men who think it's a race, and the faster I finish, the better. It is not that way. The more you take, or the more time you take to satisfy your partner, it's better for you, because you got to put that at the back of your mind. It is not a one-way street when you engage in intercourse with your partner. It's both parties have to be satisfied. And of course, we have a treatment for that at the Adult Therapy Center in St. Augustine. But that's something else we can discuss at another time. Hi, good evening. What if a man is... Okay, we had that before. And what can he do for it? Yeah, hi, doctor. Good night. Right. If you want to control that, it doesn't matter what age you are. The younger you are, the faster you learn to control it. There's a program that a person can go on at the Adult Therapy Center. No one else has it, because this is something I wrote. And the funny thing about it is that this is a question that is asked of me all the time. When did you start studying sex? And my answer is very truthful. I started studying sex when I was in high school. And at high school, which is Northeastern College in Sangre Grande, I was writing papers on how to prevent premature ejaculation. And because... Go ahead, take it. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. You got to turn the volume down on your radio. Turn the volume down on your radio. Right, go ahead and talk. No, but we can send you to a lab to have that done. If you need to get in touch with me, it's 645-4543. 645 4543. 4543. 645. Listen on the radio. I'll say it on the radio. All right? Disconnect. Yeah. The number to get in touch with me is 645-4543 if you need to get in touch with me. Again, that's the office number, 645-4543. But getting back to what I was saying. When I was in high school, that's when I decided to study sex and make sex my study. So it was my lifelong dream to do that. And that's where I started to write programs about premature ejaculation based on the information that I was gathering at that time, based on my research that I did. And that has been a very successful program from then till now. At the clinic, we still use that program incorporated with other things that I've learned later on in life. So we have a very successful program in preventing premature ejaculation. But again, it may take a person 1 month. It could take another person 5 months to learn how to control the PC muscle, which is the pubic-coccygeal muscle. That is a band of muscles that form a hammock in the pelvic area from your penis to your anus. So, can diabetes cause your testosterone to drop? And if so, how are some natural remedies to raise back the testosterone level? Raising testosterone, to answer your question, yes, any medical dysfunction that you have or any medical problem you have, medical issues you have, can cause your testosterone levels to drop. Stress is one of those also. Diabetes, because it's a circulatory problem, also causes erectile dysfunction. If your testosterone level drop, you cannot just raise it like that. There's a treatment to raise testosterone levels. I know the number one question that will be asked, what kind of foods can I eat to raise my testosterone level? There are foods that you can eat to maintain testosterone level, but not to raise testosterone levels. The two things that help you with maintaining your testosterone level is sleep, which is 6 to 8 hours of night rest, and exercise. We have another call coming in. Okay, we lost that one. So if you have low testosterone level, and don't just assume you have low testosterone level because you're not getting morning erection alone. There are other factors that you have to take into consideration. That's why something like that needs to be properly assessed, and of course a blood test done to determine whether you have low testosterone level for your age. But not having morning erections is an indication that something is wrong with your testosterone level. So I don't want every person who wake up in the morning and they have that issue, they say, okay, I need to go and get it fixed. Look at the other factors. Look at the things that are happening to you, your libido, which is your sex drive, how you interact with your partner, your longevity, all those things. Take those things into consideration. Good night, Doc. As a male, your testosterone drops as you age. Would regular exercise reverse? No. Again, you cannot reverse the loss of testosterone. That has to be treated. There's a fallacy out there where individuals will tell you, go and buy a bottle of tablet, and that will help you to raise your testosterone levels. Call coming back. Let's take it. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Well, it depends on what is causing the problem. If it's a low womb and what or something of that issue. We work with midwives. Sexologists work with doctors. We work with surgeons. We work with psychiatrists. We work with different individuals. Once the person is assessed, and if it's something that we cannot touch, for example, let's say it's a medical issue, they will be referred to a medical doctor and it's taken from there. If it's a midwife issue, they refer to a midwife and that is dealt with at that time. We don't profess to know everything about all situations, but we are best suited to diagnose exactly what is happening. If there's environmental factors, if it's factors based on the way the person engages in sexual intercourse, if it's maybe abuse by a partner, we are best suited for that because we know the questions to ask and we know how to diagnose these things. But once it gets into the realm of something that is medical, we don't cross that boundary. Once it has to do with psychiatry, we don't cross that boundary. So when it has to do with the womb, more than likely the person may need to see a midwife to have certain things done. You're welcome. So, regular exercise, no. And again, taking testosterone supplement does not reverse the process. For example, if the lowering of your testosterone comes about because of lack of exercise, for example, you may say, if I go to exercise, it's going to reverse it. No, it's not going to. It may maintain it at the level that it's at that moment. And you may need to do a treatment to get it to the level where it needs to be. Now, more than likely, if you do a testosterone test and you take it to a medical doctor or a virologist, they will, once it's within the range, they'll tell you everything is okay. A sexologist looks at that differently. We have formulas that we work out. We have things that we look at in your lifestyle. For example, if you're a young man and you're working in a chemical environment, and you know Trinidad is a chemical-oriented country. For example, you're working in a service station. You're coming into contact with fumes, gasoline fumes, lead poisoning from the diesel and all those things. That's going to affect your testosterone level. If not now, immediately, later on in life. So when you are assessed by a sexologist, we will ask the relevant question, you will give us the answer, providing you're truthful, and then we'll be able to tell you what treatment you need. Constable C. Passar of the Child Protection Unit is in need of... Okay, this is someone who needs blood. Not for this program right now, but... Please explain the testosterone treatment. I was just doing that. The person who has an issue comes to the clinic. They are assessed in 3 different ways. Once it is established that their testosterone level is not at the optimum level for that person, given their age and circumstance, there are options for treatment. The options are told to the individual, and it's up to the individual to go through the treatment. Once you have gone through the treatment and you are tested again and it is proven, well, of course, you'll know what is happening to you physically, emotionally, mentally, and sexually. So you will feel the effects of the treatment as you go along. So let's say, for example, your treatment takes 9 months. And again, don't expect it to be reversed in a month's time. It's not going to happen. It didn't take a month for you to get from point A to point Z. It took a long time to get there. But we try to do the reversal as quickly as possible. Once you're finished with your treatment, we'll tell you what you need to do to maintain that. And that's the important fact. You now must do what you need to do to maintain it so that you don't ever face that problem again. But of course, aging is also a factor. As you age, there are changes that take place in your body. So in another program, we'll talk about the aging factor. Right now, we're dealing with the health factor that is causing these things. Diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, even something as simple as a sprain can affect you. Because if you can't walk properly, if you have the stomach bug, I defy any person out there who has diarrhea to attempt to have intercourse. Hello? Yes, could you turn the volume down on your radio and listen to us on your phone, please? Yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh. Yeah, yes, what you call in nature is what we call the libido. And you are right. Anyone who works shift system will be affected. The reason for that, we all have a body biological clock. Once our biological clock, our circadian rhythm goes out of sync, we have problems sexually. Our alarm bell goes off. And you are right. Once you're working 16 hours a day and you're not getting enough sleep, because remember, although you're working 16 hours a day, it does not mean to say you get 8 hours of sleep. You may only get 4. Some persons only get 2 hours of sleep. That is going to affect your nature or affect your libido. And that is some, and we do treat a lot of persons who are security officers or persons who work in the services. Once you have to work shift system. Good night, Dr. Raj. Polycystic ovaries, does it have a cure or a way to control, and can they get pregnant with having the mentioned problem? Thanks, have a good night. Yes, we have a treatment for polycystic ovaries also. There are women who come to us who are, now, with polycystic ovaries or polycystic ovarian syndrome, you can get pregnant. But think about it. You have a mass that is growing within you, inside of you, a cyst that is developing, that is growing, that is taking the nutrients from your body to make this thing grow. You think a fetus could battle with that? That's why a lot of women who have polycystic ovaries have a miscarriage. Now, the treatment for polycystic ovaries, depending on how many cysts the person has, where they have the cyst, could take anywhere from a month to a year. But once you have gone through that treatment and you regulate the period, and they no longer have the issue with polycystic ovaries. Now, polycystic ovaries comes about because of the release of eggs outside of the period cycle that is not properly reabsorbed by the body. So those things form cysts. Once those things are controlled, the person can get pregnant and have a successful pregnancy. So all these issues are very important issues, you know. And again, the issue with polycystic ovaries has to do with poor diet or the amount of chemicals or hormones in food. So you have to look at the diet. So it's a health issue. And we have a serious problem with that in Trinidad and Tobago. So you could call 299-4103. You can send your WhatsApp message 299-4103. For those of you who want to ask your questions, please do so now. We are almost at the end of the program already. I can't believe this. How much minutes we have? 20 minutes? Oh, well, we still have a lot of time. We have 20 minutes for you to call in, 20 minutes for you to send your messages. For those of you who have been interacting with me, I thank you very much for that. And remember, the question that you may ask will help another person. Some persons are too shy to call the radio station. Some persons don't want to hear they don't want their neighbors to hear them. Some persons are afraid to be identified with calling the radio station. That's why we allow you to send a WhatsApp message. For those of you who have WhatsApp, 299-4103, send your messages. We will deal with it on the air as much as possible. We'll try to give you the best possible answers and the truthful answers so that you can deal with your issues, find solutions for your problems, because the worst thing to face in life is getting married and not being able to get pregnant. And we'll deal with that in a few seconds. We'll take this call. Hello? Good evening. Could you turn the volume down on your radio, please?
I was pleasantly surprised when I was switching station and I heard your voice. I said, that had to be Raj.
Okay.
I used to listen to you previously on the other station, and then for quite a while I kind of lost touch with that station.
Mm-hmm.
So pleasantly surprised to hear you on this station, my favorite station.
Well, thank you very much for that. I hope you keep on listening and you contribute to the program also.
But since it's the first time, I don't know what your days are and the hours are.
We are on every Monday. I am on every Monday from 7 to 8.
Every Monday from 7 to 8.
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you for that. Bye. Good night, Dr. Raj. My wife usually orgasms within 5 minutes of penetration, but it takes me another 20 minutes to finish. And by that time, she's a bit sore. Is that normal, or do we need some kind of treatment? No, you don't need any treatment. What you need to use is a lubrication. Most women, when they discharge, they reabsorb. And if you have a problem with soreness or dryness, you can simply use a thing. But they simply use a lubricant, a proper lubricant. There are different types of lubricants on the market. The one that I suggest everyone use is the Swiss Navy lubricant, which comes in 3 different types. You have the water-based ones, which helps with generating lubrication, and also it's easily absorbed by the body. You have the natural lubricant, which is something of a mixture of both silicone and natural, which lasts longer, and it has a different viscosity. And of course, then there's the silicone lubricant. The silicone lubricant prevents soreness, prevents dryness, but it remains for a longer time. Now, with that issue you're talking about there, you can do 2 things. There's something called reconditioning in sexology. Reconditioning is when one person tries to recondition themselves to suit their partner's rhythm. So you can do some reconditioning with your partner, meaning that you can try to lessen your time and try for your partner to last longer or have multiple orgasms. So that is something that we do in a counseling session. So you can actually do that reconditioning and change things along so you have a better sex life. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How old is she? All right. Well, I'll tell you something. Wondering if you're the problem does not solve your problem. What you need to do is get tested, both of you, to find out. Well, come to the adult therapy center and we'll do that for you. Right? What you need to do is you have to be tested and she has to be tested. Does she have any children? How many? Okay, how old is the youngest one? 9. Okay, so it's been a while. Do you have children? All right. So we need to test both of you, check out both of you, and then you'll be able to know if you can get her pregnant or not. Well, you need to call the adult therapy center. We do assessment first, which means both of you come in and do a consultation, and the cost will be determined by the treatment that you have to take. Okay, so call the adult therapy center at 645-4543, make an appointment, right? And we'll take it from there. 4543, yes. Have you ever been to a doctor to be tested? Okay, well, because if you had any tests, you'll need to bring it in. Well, that will affect you. So we need to take a look at everything. All right. 645-4543. Yeah. Good night. Is it true that a woman with polycystic ovary has a low sex drive? Obviously, yes. And the reason for that, polycystic ovaries cause hormonal imbalance. And also some women have spotting or bleeding. And of course, they don't feel sexy because of that. So yes, that will affect their sex drive or their libido. I'm also diabetic. I don't feel for sex, but when I do, I enjoy. Is this normal? Well, diabetes is a circulatory problem. It's a disease that causes a lot of sexual dysfunction and a lot of issues dealing with sex, sexuality, and behavior. So that is something, again, that needs to be looked at. Did an IUI, but I was unsuccessful. My period is normal on time, and I was told I have a cyst, taking treatment. In 2 years, I'm still not pregnant. What do I do now? I will advise you to bring your information and come to the adult therapy center for that. We have a very simple treatment, that was invented by a lady in the Philippines. Well, a Filipino lady living in the United States. That seems to work very well with women with polycystic ovaries. So call the adult therapy center, make an appointment, and come in. Good night, Dr. Raj. Is there anything to use to bring up the estrogen level? Of course, there are things that you can use. You can use the lusty libido. You can use the probido. There are things that you can, there's a gel that you can use also. So that's something that you can get at any one of the business places. There are people who claims that when a woman squirts that the liquid is urine and others say otherwise. Can you put some closure to this? Well, there is no way there's a lock-off valve in a woman as there is in a man. So once a woman is squirting, it's a mixture of bodily fluids, which includes urine. So it's not totally urine, it's a mixture of bodily fluids. 10 years now with some same partner and can't get pregnant. She check and she good. They say low sperm count. Tell me 3 years ago and still she has 2 children, 9 and 13. Well, if you have low sperm count, obviously that is the problem. But we have a treatment for treating low sperm count also. Sometimes your lifestyle and your diet could cause you to have low sperm count. If you have low sperm count and you smoke cigarette and you're using alcohol and whatnot, it's going to lessen your sperm count. So you have to change your lifestyle. Hi, Dr. Raj. My wife does squirt like very, very plenty is normal. Can you tell me? Some women squirt a lot, and women who are squirters have to drink a lot of liquid because they could get dehydrated very easily. Not all women can squirt. I know there are a lot of women out there who would like to learn to squirt. There are techniques for that. There are things that you can look for. Well, of course, you cannot do it yourself. Your partner has to do it to find out if you have the ability to squirt, or you could go to a sex therapist and have that done. But it's not as easy as that, because remember, when a woman gets the urge to squirt, the first thing she do is lock off because she thinks that she's going to urinate. So it's not a comfortable thing to do. So sometimes it's mental. It's a mental blockage. So some women who could be a natural squirter because of the mental blockage or because of their partner. Now, this is another thing. When we talk about environmental factors could be your partner not liking it, and that person putting a stop to it or asking you, what kind of thing is that? I don't like this thing. So squirting is a messy thing, so you have to be prepared for it. Good night, doctor. So many things to ask, so much I have learned from you, and thank you for me having a great sex life. Thank you very much. The person didn't put their name, so I can't put a name to it. Don't know who it is. Good night. I have a question to ask. Well, go ahead and ask your question. Don't tell me you have a question, because it's better if you send a question. We're here for that, you know. This program is to deal with your questions and deal with your issues. So all you need to do, for any time you call in, tell us your issues, give me your problem, and I will find a solution for you. For those of you who have sent in a WhatsApp message, don't ask if you can ask a question, just send the question and we deal with it there. We deal with it right away on the air so that you can get closure or you can get a solution. We're all looking for solutions for our problems, you know. And this, we must be very thankful for 103.1 FM for having this program. Let's Talk Sex with Dr. Raj. It's been years in coming, but it's finally here. So now that we have this program here, we'll be able, this is Mr. Singh that says he has an improved sex life. You've learned a lot from the program. Well, that's good. Yes, so I have been doing this for years. I've been on the air, radio and television for over 20 years now. So it's second nature for me. So let's take this call. Pleasant good evening. Take the volume down on your radio, please. Yes, good evening. Take the volume down on your radio. We'll have to cut you off. Right, thank you. Mm-hmm. Why do you have one limb amputated? Diabetes, accident, what? Right. Now, accident is a trauma. Trauma will affect you. It depends on your age. It depends on your health. Right. Again, your age. As you get old, as I say again, your age will be a factor. As you get older, you lose certain elements in your body. There are chemical changes that takes place. There is something that is called andropause, which we'll deal with in another program, that can affect you. So all these factors you have to take into consideration. Also the kind of relationship you have with your partner. That will also affect you. 645-4543. You're welcome. So now I'm guessing drinking squirt is not safe as it is mixed with urine compared to how it is done in the movies. Why can't you drink it? There are persons who drink urine. Don't you know that? There is something called urine therapy. There is something called the nectar of Lord Shiva. So do your research. But of course, you don't want to do that with a stranger, and you don't want to do it with someone that you may suspect have a STD or STI. If your partner is clean of a STD and STI, you can do it. There's plenty of things in sex that people consider to be taboo, consider to be wrong, that you can do, you know. It's all up to the individual, because remember, sex starts in the mind, and that is what drives you to do other things. So, but that's a very good question that the person asked. I'm 43 years old, diabetic, and I'm having a problem getting and keeping my erection and ejaculate prematurely. Well, obviously, if you don't take care of your diabetes and if you don't do the right things, and as a diabetic, a person who is diabetic needs to do certain things when it comes to their sex life annually. So again, those are the things that we coach individuals on. These are the things that we help individuals with. Those are the things that we examine when we are treating someone. So please bear those things in mind, that if you have a medical problem, and that's why we talk about health and sex, if you have a medical issue, you need to do certain things to overcome that and have a better sex life. It's not the end of the world. It's not a death sentence. Don't tell yourself, well, okay, this is the end of my sex life with my partner. My partner is going to be unfaithful now. He or she may move on to someone else. No. There are things that you can do to adjust yourself, to make your life better, to make it more enjoyable. There's coaching that you can take. There's counseling that you can take at the Adult Therapy Center. There are things that you can come and tell me about that I will find a solution for you. And again, if you want the solution on the air, you can also ask for it on the air. Simply send us the text messages and send us the WhatsApp messages, and you can call in and ask the questions directly. Again, that number is 299-4103, 299-4103. Those of you who are trying to call on the 628 number, that is down for the while, so you can call us or text us, send WhatsApp messages on 299-4103. That's where you will get to deal with us directly. So just remember, things that may be a turn off for one person may be a turn on for another person. There are fetishes in person's sexual life. There are things that you may not be aware of that would, that would assist you sexually. There are things that your partner may not be able to bring out in you, and there are things that your partner may be able to bring out in you that you weren't even aware of. So always take those things into consideration. Sometimes we are shy to talk to our partner. We're afraid to tell our spouse of things that we want because we're afraid of the way the person is going to react. But as you become more educated about things of a sexual nature, you'll realize that these things are normal, and you can actually talk to your partner about it. You don't have to be shy, you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have to be ashamed. Because if you use the right words, and if you are able to communicate with your spouse, you are going to have a better sex life. And of course, that leads to a better life. What's happening here? Even if I don't smoke or drink and I exercise regularly, yes, even if you don't smoke or drink and exercise regularly, if you have diabetes, there are things that you need to do. We have a call coming in. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Shy or cold feet? Cold feet. That's my operator I'm communicating with. I'm not communicating with a ghost. This is a myth that sperm on a woman's face helps clear acne and other problems on her face. Sperm on a person's face will not clear acne. It's good for your face. It's a good moisturizer because it has protein and other minerals, but it's not going to clear up acne. You need to unclog your pores, go to see a dermatologist, and get the right treatment for that. But you can do facial with sperm. It's very good for that. At what age does a man penis stop growing? The man penis stop developing. It will not develop naturally anymore after the age of 40. Some men, the cutoff time is before that. But more than likely, once you've gone through your teenage years, that's the end of development. Hello? Hello? Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Yes, good evening. Go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk. He's not hearing us. Yes, go ahead and talk. Don't try to listen to us on the radio. Listen to us on the phone. Yes, hello. Well, you go ahead and talk. Just go ahead and talk. The person listening on the radio, tell him to go ahead and talk. Good evening. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. Well, obviously it doesn't affect everybody. Not everything I'm saying will affect every single person, but at 54 years of age, it would not affect you now, but later on in life it will. The man talking to you. Anyway, we have almost reached the end of our program. So for the gentleman who just asked that question, not everything that I've said applies to every single individual. There is always exception to the rule. But a person doing those types of work, especially if you are working night shift, it's going to affect you sometime in life. It may not be now, but it will do so later on. Always remember that. So, with that, we have reached the end of our program for tonight. And the reason I said we have 1 more minute. I'm going to remind you all that I am Dr. Raj Ramanan, better known as Dr. Raj. I'm a sexologist and sex therapist. My clinic is in St. Augustine for those of you who want to visit. For those of you who want to listen to this program again, it's on every Monday from 7 to 8. We have a lot of messages that came in, and we have a few calls that came in also. We are very thankful for that. This is an interactive program. It's one where you ask your question, get your answers. Get your truthful answers and get the assistance that you need to make your love life better, to make your sex life better, so that you enjoy your life with your partner. Good night.